11 months reselling on eBay and a few other sites too, but November 2021 has been my best month yet, and I want to take you through all the details. I don't want to harp on too long, but I do want to say that just because it's been my best month yet does not mean that there's been some lessons, and there's one big question that I'm asking myself and really thinking about after having a month like this. So let's dive into it. So jumping straight into what have we done for November? Well, things are pointing all in the right direction. We have sold 232 items, up from 188. In terms of total cost of items, we've spent $790. That's for the items that have sold, and the average cost is around $3.41. In terms of total revenue, we've done just shy of $6,600. Now, average sale price being around $28.44, but this month we basically did 58% more in terms of revenue, and our ASP was up by about $5.55. Total fees and costs around post have been still up there, $1,374 worth, averaging around $5.90, about 21 cents higher than last month, which makes sense because I've sold more. But the big takeaway for the month is the profits. We've done $4,437.77, being about a 66% increase compared to last month, and margin overall being around 63.7%, which is a nice increase of 3.5%. So it's been really, really great to be able to experience this month. It's been a humbling experience, and there's been a lot to take away from it because, of course, we all want a month like this, and that kind of leads on to the big question that I'm asking myself, but we'll get to that shortly. So here's a deep dive or a snapshot of how things have actually progressed for November. As you can see, cost of goods, sales, post-cost fees, profit, all that jazz. You can see averages, and you can see where things were really working out. And it has been a month of just video games. As you can see, being $4,000 of my revenue. It's 4 times more than anything else that I've sold this month, which makes sense because of that video game haul, which was a big win. But then coming in second, third, and fourth, books, DVDs, and toys. And these are some of the other things that I've been selling too, but it's been a great month of learning and a great month of having some fun and just seeing what else is actually out there. Now, in terms of the top 5 sold, a lot of you would have seen these already, so I'm going to go through them very quickly. We've got the 19 big box games, which came from the video game haul. We've got the Gears of War action figure set, which also came from the video game haul. We've got the Guitar Hero set that also came from the video game haul. Then we've got a Charizard from Celebrations, which was a nice fresh pull. That was my second one to pull. And then we also sold a DS Pokemon Pokewalker, which was a nice little flip there as well. So as you can see, a lot of video games this month. I haven't really had much else selling in terms of big ticket items, but I'm not complaining. So some of the cool items or weird and wonderful stuff was, first one being this steering wheel lock with a key. I sold this for $40. I got this for free from someone moving. The second one was this Sunset Overdrive Xbox One box, which I sold for $30. That one went up to the 2 happy gamers. They needed it to complete one of their collections, and it just goes to show that if you have an empty box in good condition, you can still get some good money for it. And then this final one, which was pretty cool, was a Vintage Girl Guides Australia lapel pin, which they've paid $16 plus around $15 postage all the way over to the UK, so a collector looking for this one. But it just goes to show, once again, there's some weird and wonderful items that will sell. Some flops this month, there hasn't been much flops. We did have a few moments there where things did dip down compared to the rest of the month, but I'm not too concerned by that. But we had a couple of items where we lost a little money on or didn't make much money on, and this happens sometimes because I put the wrong postage or I didn't think about all their old stock and just moving along, but really there wasn't any big issues. Wins, lessons, all that jazz. So I think from a thumbs up perspective, we had new best records, which is really exciting, and even my 2 best days in this month of my entirety. So I bet my record and then I bet it again. And I think this month has been all about momentum, riding that wave of some big wins and some big sales. And at the same time, though, you got to be careful of that because it does bring a perspective change. It's helped me understand that, well, there's actually a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot of ways I could be doing things differently, just in terms of buying bulk. And I think that really comes down to the lessons of, like, how can I mimic this again? And I think that's really the big question. That is the big question. How can I do another month like this? How can I mimic this? How can I continue to keep up something of this momentum? And that I'm still working out, but it really comes down to time versus effort versus output. If I'm buying in bulk, if I'm doing some of these bigger deals, well, it means I'm going to save a lot more time and I don't have to go out sourcing. However, I do love sourcing. But overall, I think the big lesson this month has also been about the humbling experience, being able to have the opportunity to get all these items at such a great price, but also being able to just have that connection. And I've had a few other smaller deals like this that have come through since then, and it's been really humbling, really overwhelming, but really exciting and encouraging just to be able to see, well, what options are actually out there. And it really comes down to making sure people know what you do. So some quick analytics for November 2021. We've listed 480 items. We've averaged around $219 daily, that's just incredible by itself. And we've had an average cycle time of around 31 days. So really bringing that down compared to some of the last couple of weeks if you've been watching in December. And this is what a monthly flow has looked like. As you can see, there's been some big days, some really small days. As you can see, I had a $17.50 day. I had a $0 day this month, but I also had my two best days. I've had a best day since that as well, but 773, 803, and then you've got as low as $0. So it just goes to show it is a roller coaster. Here is the year-to-date tracking view, and when I'm talking about year-to-date, starting from January, which I started on the 11th, and it's just been a crazy journey. As you can see, that progression over time. I mean, of course, you can dive into these numbers and have a look, but looking at this just helps me reflect and see how far I've come and what I've been able to learn and take and run with. And here is a visual version of that. So you can see there has been that roller coaster ride from a zoomed out perspective of a month perspective. And it just goes to show once again where I've come from, what I've been able to do, and what I'm hoping I'm able to continue to achieve. Now, when it comes to a business view, one thing that we always forget about is, the things that are costing us behind the scenes. On eBay, we're always seeing the big profits, the big wins. I got this for $1, I sold it for $300, whatever. But there is a business view behind this, and I want to be very clear there. A lot of this we forget about, and the first few months, they weren't necessarily huge. And then last month, October, we had a negative month, and that's because I purchased the video game haul. This month, we've been able to double down on that payout forward of expenses back in October, and we're sitting at a 46% margin, as you can see here. And profit first. I want to give you guys an example. Once again, this is not down to the dot because it can get a little complicated because of the way we get paid out from eBay, but to avoid any confusion, this is just a high-level example that when I get paid out by eBay, how I'm splitting things out. OPEX, profits, owner's pay, tax. This does change as I've progressed. OPEX used to be a bit higher and owner's pay used to be a bit lower, but now I've evened it out, and eventually I want to make owner's pay higher so I can get paid out more. But basically every time eBay pays me, let's say it's $1,000, 40% is going to OPEX, which is my operating expense for the next week. So that will be all the things that come under postage. That's all the stuff that comes under purchasing new stock. Other expenses such as postage supplies, storage supplies, stationery. Profits goes away for a quarterly dividend to myself. Owner's pay, that goes out to myself, which I pay myself out monthly back into my actual bank account, into my personal bank account. And then tax I put away every single week to make sure when that quarterly tax statement comes in, or when I have to pay up at the end of the year, I've got the cash there ready to go and ready to rumble. So that's it, team. That is November 2021, and it's been the best month ever. And the big question that I want to remind everyone on is, how can I do something like this again? How can I continue to mimic it? How can I continue to ride it? Now, I can't expect that I'm going to have this, but I think it really comes down to how I'm spending my time, where I'm putting my effort, and looking for the better output. And that might come down to doubling my ASP. If I'm selling at a higher price, I might not need to sell as much to get to the numbers. Or if I can sell as much as I have been but have a higher ASP, clearly I can obviously make some coin a lot quicker and easier. So these are all things that I'm trying to work out how I can make this better for myself. Of course, this is the question that we're always asking ourselves: how can we do bigger? How can we do better? But at the end of the day, I really want consistent, and I want it to be consistent numbers, and I want it to be able to rely on it so I can zoom out a bit, maybe integrate some new things into the business to enable myself to work on the business and not in the business. And that is another whole conversation. Really do appreciate you being here. If you've got questions, if you want to continue the conversation, drop it down in the comments below. I'm always happy to continue. Otherwise, jump over to my Instagram. That's probably the best place you can follow along. Also, I do have a weekly newsletter. If you want to check that out too, that's also in the description. Otherwise, really appreciate you being here, and make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do the whole shebang, and hustle. Ciao.